Yeah, I saw him this morning. Came in for film this morning, and you know, he was walking and a little sore this morning. You know, I think you know, as we look at it through the course of the week, we manage it out and see how things go. You know, you hope to have him ready to go for Saturday. So as of right now, I mean, it's hard to say. I know he's pretty sore right now, but that's to be expected.
How did you evaluate the job Cole did in his absence?
I thought Cole did a really good job. I thought he came in and had a lot of poise. Did not have any mental errors, which was good to see. Took a sack, could have got rid of the ball, but it wasn't on him on that one. But I thought Cole did a good job. He came in, and you know, anytime you put a kid on the field like that, on the +3 yard line, and then he gets it again on the -2 yard line, it's pretty tough to take your first snaps. But I was pleased to see the way Cole responded, and the guys responded around him as well.
Now you said, first you said he was a little sore, then you said he was pretty sore. Like if we saw him walking across, we'd say, oh, he's banged up.
Probably not.
No?
No, probably not. I mean, you may see him walk a little slow, but
Okay.
I think he walks slow to begin with. But you know, you're not going to see him come out here hobbling around like he needs to be in a wheelchair or you know, on crutches or anything. I mean, he's you know, hey, he told me he was going to play, and I believe him. But in the same sense, you know, we'll see by the middle of the week where he's at as far as rep-wise. You know, he's a guy that he'll get plenty of reps, and he'll get plenty of mental reps as well, and watch a lot of film. So.
Is the spot, is it like a hip pointer? You know,
No, I think it's more of a strain than it is anything. A hip pointer would obviously cause a lot more problems. I think it's more of a strain than anything. And I think that, coupled with the fact that, excuse me, that you know, the way he fell, I think it scared him. You know, I thought it scared everybody there, but I think it really scared him. But you know, it was just kind of an awkward fall, and kind of strained him a little bit in that regard. But you know, he's a competitor. It'll shock me if he doesn't play.
Nevertheless, do you accelerate Cole's learning curve, maybe get him more reps with the ones this week?
Oh no, there's no question about that. You know, he'll get. You know, I told you last week he gets the same amount of reps as Taj does. Is the way we do our rep system. It's just he gets it with the number 2s. Early in the week this week, especially today, Monday, Tuesday, you know, you'll see Cole get a lot. He'll get the reps with the number 1s, and Donnie will get the reps with the number 2s, and then we'll work it from there.
Is Taj going to be able to practice in full Tuesday?
I'm expecting him to at least get the majority of the reps on Tuesday, whether that be just going against our scouts, you know, and keeping him out of going against the defense. You know, again, I don't know. It's hard to say. I know he jogged a little bit, so we'll kind of go from there and see.
Chad, I know you said between spring practice and what he had done in the fall that you felt like you had prepared Cole for what he had to go do Saturday. Given that, will you spend any more like classroom type time with him this week, just making sure that he's up to speed if the worst happens and he has to?
Well, you know, we only get so much time, of course, you know, through the course of the week, so you have to be careful with that. Cole's an extremely intelligent young man. He's going to prepare himself outside of my preparation with him. You know, it's I think Cole had kind of gotten in a pecking order of that he was the number 2 guy, and rightfully so. You know, and you try to tell a true freshman over and over and over, make sure you're ready. You know, here we are. Here's what we're doing. You prepare them in there as much as you can. And until the opportunity happens, you know, he steps on the field, and again, I thought he did a great job the way he managed the game, and did some really good things for us. Pulled the ball down, ran the football for us. But Cole will be fine. I mean, that's my job. You know, you know, I'll get him ready. If he's got to play, then it's my job to get him ready. I guess I'll actually have to work this week. So, but that's not that would be the least of my concerns. Is number 8. He's a competitor. And he may not have quite the arm strength that Taj has right now because he's not as strong, and rightfully so. But one thing that I can promise you he's going to do is he's going to compete, and he's going to put us in a situation to be successful. So.
You talk about him being a competitor, being intelligent. How much of that is having a dad who played the position in the NFL, and does that in itself present some interesting challenges for a position coach?
Well,
like
I think,
yourself?
I think that has a lot to do with it. He's been around football his whole life. It's kind of like having a coach's kid. I mean, that's all they know. And Cole's probably been playing football since he was old enough to hold a football. And so I think that helps tremendously. I think if you remember coming out of spring ball, the question everybody was asking was, well, is Cole Stout going to push Taj Boyd, and will Cole look good, and so there's some potential there. Cole has a lot of potential, and I think we saw some of that the other night. Again, he doesn't quite have the arm strength that Taj has right now because it's just not as strong physically. But again, I think Cole will be in a situation that if asked to play Saturday, Cole will be in a situation to excel.
What was that situation like on Saturday when you saw Taj down and all of a sudden you got to get Cole ready right now? What did you
Well,
tell him you see from him?
when I saw Taj go down and saw Dwayne catch the ball, really didn't pay much attention to it, and Taj got up, tried to walk, and went back down again. Everybody went out there, and I didn't go out there, and I want to see if he'd get up. Well, I went out there, and the only thing I asked him was, that's the only communication I had with Taj was, is it your knee? And he goes, no, coach, it's my hip. And that's when I turned and told, Cole, hey, let's get ready. And that was it. I didn't talk to Taj anymore. And at that point, it was, I wanted to make sure I go over to Cole and told him to have some fun, that, hey, relax, and oh, by the way, we're fixing to throw the football right here. And he said, okay, coach, let's do it. And it was third down, and I said, now look, if it's not there, the only guy that can catch it is our guy. Otherwise, throw it away, and don't put a ball in jeopardy. And I told him, I said, relax and have some fun. Get the ball to your playmakers around you. And I made sure he laughed and smiled at me before we went out on the field. That was the only thing I was wanting to do, is make sure he was going to smile and laugh a little bit.
Obviously, you won't know till later in the week, but might you right now think I may have to be a little cautious in play calling with Taj, or do you just not consider that and just go do what you do?
Well, that's hard to say right now. If he's 90% at game time, then there may be some things that weigh into it. But we're going to call a game to go win a game, and if he can't give us the best chance to win a game, then we got to put somebody else in there that will give us that best chance to win a game. We cannot do and be who we we got to be who we are. What's got us to 6-0, and but with that being said, absolutely you have to look at those things and kind of weigh the options and and see what best fits him.
It's hard to work a backup in when you have a quarterback who's doing as well as Taj is. Obviously, putting him under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, him having to go under pressure. That's got to help his development. It's got to help your confidence level in him if he's needed for other times this year.
I hope we're sitting here in another 6 weeks, 8 weeks, however long, and say, what, that thing that happened to Taj was one of the best things that's happened to, not that it's the best thing that happened to us, but it forced us and forced Cole to get into a game in a situation to where the game wasn't over with yet, and he had to perform, and because I think that's the only thing that's going to do is help develop his confidence, and not only his confidence but our confidence of the players around him when Cole steps out on the field. The thing I like, and I don't know if you saw or not, but there was a lot of times on the field that Cole was clapping his hands, he was getting everybody lined up and hurrying up, and he was talking to his running backs, and that's what you like to have. That's what you want to see.
Chad, you said the one thing that you were a little bit reluctant to do, was the nakeds kind of stuff, and I certainly understand that as far as the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Will you work with Cole on those particular aspects of the game plan, just to make sure that he could handle that if you needed?
Yeah. We'll definitely work with that on Cole and his reads and again, You know, he's getting the same amount of reps as Taj. He's getting the same plays as Taj is in practice. He knows the offense, or what we got in. He knows. It's just executing it in front of 85,000 people. You know, and that's what you ask, and that's what you as a play caller, you try not to put him in a situation to fail. I mean, that's the worst thing I could have done is come out there and say, hey, we're gonna throw the ball deep, and we're gonna ask you to read the zone read and pull it and run it and the whole bit. I mean, early on. But once you saw his confidence and him coming over the sidelines after he got hit once or twice, you knew he was ready. You could start opening up a little bit more.
He said this is not a hard offense to learn.
Uh-huh.
He said the only part of it that makes it difficult is the tempo you expect.
Mhm.
Is that a fair assessment of what you're trying to do?
That's exactly right. We don't want our kids thinking, our players to think. We want them to react and play. And that's not just the quarterback. That's all of them.
You've had teams with on winning streaks before.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about the balance of they build confidence. That's a good thing. That maybe allows you to do some things that you wouldn't have done 3 weeks earlier. Other side of the coin is they can be overconfident and think, oh, well, we can just, we're on cruise control now. How do you balance? How do you know when to give them more and, when to push them harder?
And that's a great question. All you have to do is turn the film on to show that we still have a lot of room for improvement. While we had over 500 yards, or right at 500 yards of offense, there were still things that we had 40-something yards and losses, whether it's sacks and a loss on a reverse. I mean, there's some things out there. While this was overall, might have been one of our better just overall collection of games as far as that stands, there's still some things we can do to get better. So, and how we practice them, how we hold them accountable. Again, I said it last week, that's my temperament, it's my demeanor. That's the last thing we're going to have to worry about, these guys coming out and being around me and thinking they're overconfident. Because, that's the one thing that I'll definitely do is make sure that that I bust their balloon before they get out there if we have any indication of that. So, I don't anticipate that. It wasn't that way last week. They worked extremely hard last week. I expect that out of them this week. I know everybody in the country is going to tell them, hey, this is where you're ranked, the BCS is this and that. All that means nothing. Nothing right now. I mean, 6-6 is still not a good season.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Coach, I thought the offensive line actually blocked better run blocking wise after Taj went out. Is that
they
the
did.
case?
That was one of the things that we challenged our guys over on the sidelines. I said, we have a true freshman on the field, and it's not fair for him to get everybody lined up, call the protections, call the plays, and expect guys up front or on each side of him not to do their job. And I challenge them all to have to grow up and take on more ownership of it and help this young man out. And they did. You're exactly right. They did. And outside of a few breakdowns here and there, that was from a run blocking standpoint. After Taj went out, it got a lot better.
You said you used a lot of different combinations, looking for the right combination.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find that, or what was your best combination coming out?
Still haven't found it yet. Obviously, the combination we started the game with will be the combination that starts today's practice with. But again, it changes. David Smith got in and got some reps at left guard, and Brandon got some reps at left tackle. I mean, there were some times we had to make some guys and cut and paste some situations. But right now that's where we are with it, where we started the game last week. But again, David Smith, Mason Cloy got in and got some reps. We just ask those guys to keep pushing each other, and they will.
After watching the film, what was your take on the offensive line before Taj went down?
I thought pass protection we did a really good job. I did. I thought we had a couple of mental busts, but we did a pretty good job in our pass protection. In our run game, doesn't seem like we're getting our inside run game working quite as effective as I want it to be right now. A lot of that is not just on the offensive line. I know one time we had a split flow zone, and our back didn't get the actual kick out or the lock call on it, and we had our hats on hats, what we call it. But we just got to continue to be more physical and continue to push these guys to be more physical, and continue to challenge them. And what's great about this is, is they're seeing it, they're getting better. We've come a long way over the last 3 weeks since 4 weeks since we originally challenged them. We've come a long way, and while we're not where we want to be right now, we've came a long way. We got a long way to go, but they got to continue to let us push them, let us coach them, and we want to take great pride in we're going to be the most physical football team on the field. We said it going into Virginia Tech. We said it last week. We want to do that. Let our tempo help dictate that as well. But at some point, you got to take ownership in it and do it. And they have been, and they're trying, and they're disappointed when something isn't working. I like to see the fire in their eye on the sideline. When they're disappointed, it's not working that way.
You, I think, talked about how you wanted to see a spark from Andre Ellington. Did you see that Saturday?
We did. Coach Sweeney challenged him at halftime. We needed to see Andre cut it loose a little bit. And I said it last week, it's almost like he's trying too hard. He's wanting it to happen right now. I did see some good things out of Andre. We really did. We hope Andre picks up where he left off. The one thing Andre's got to do is he's got to practice. I mean, we're going on 3 weeks now that he really hadn't got a whole lot of reps in practice. I told him that this morning. He's got to practice. And you can't stand back there, and rightfully so, because he's been hurt. We've tried to manage his reps, but we're going to turn him loose in practice this week.
How much did he practice last week? How much?
He got a little bit in on Wednesday and a little bit in on Thursday.
And he said the other day that he felt after the game, he felt as good after the game as he felt all season, and then he was eager to come out and practice on Monday for the first time, whatever. So that's going to be a good sign.
It is, yep, without a doubt. And of course coming in after, last week, I guess it was last week, he got the thigh bruise off of the interception, and finally got him back Wednesday of last week, and now I talked to him this morning, and he said, Coach, I'm ready to go. And I said, well, we got to get you some reps in practice. You got to go Monday through Thursday.
Chad, how's Bellamy doing as far as developing to what you want him to do?
Well, I think, he provides a spark for us. I think everybody saw that in the second half. We got to continue to bring Mike on, and again, Mike is no different than anybody else. He's got to have a good day Monday through Thursday, and that's anybody.
Maryland used to be a defensive team that would rely on their linebackers a lot, kind of push the middle, a lot of all-out blitzes. What do you see out of them this year?
Well, they've got a new defensive coordinator, and so while they ran a lot of their odd package last year and they brought a lot of blitzes, we're seeing some of that this year. I know they did quite a bit of that against West Virginia, and so we anticipate some of that stuff we've already seen this year. They do rely a lot on their linebackers. They're very athletic. On the back end, the secondary, they're physical. They want to try to get the safeties involved in the run game. They're just like we are. I'm sure they're sitting up there going, hey, look, we got to worry about ourselves. And yes, we're going to get you prepared for your opponent, but you know what? Like we are here, you're going to know what these guys are doing, and we're going to have you coached up and prepared for that. But we got to look at the Tigers, and we got to make sure that we're progressing at a rate that we need to progress at, and constantly self-evaluate ourselves.
Is Maryland a team, no disrespect, compared to like Georgia Tech was your opponent next week, and Maryland's your opponent? Would you consider keeping Taj out another week just because maybe it's not a Georgia Tech if he wasn't playing?
Well, no, Maryland's a team that can beat you and beat you in a hurry. And just going on the past success that Clemson's had going up there, everybody that's told me that, they've lost. I think they lost last time they went up there with C.J. Spiller and Jacoby and that bunch. This is a team that is very capable of beating you. I think everybody saw them on television against obviously Georgia Tech. Saw them on television against Miami at the start of the season. Played with a lot of high energy. No, we're not overlooking anybody. We got to have all our guys ready to go and healthy.
Coach, Sammy's obviously made probably as big an impact as any freshman in the country. You were hired, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks before signing day.
Yeah, I was hired like January the 11th.
I was just curious if you got a chance to know him before signing
did.
day, and sort of when you
Yes.
realized, hey, I've got a special guy on my hands here?
Yeah, I was on one of the early flights to get down there. I don't know if I even got here to check in before I got down there to see Sammy. So, yeah, I got to meet Sammy and his family and visit with them, and got to meet his high school coach, and so yeah, we knew it was a guy that I needed to get in front of pretty quick. He had a little concern of whether or not we were going to throw the ball deep and give him a chance to, stretch the field vertically. That was one of his concerns, and I think we've answered that.
And then did you realize pretty quickly once you got him on your hands here that he
Yeah.
could be everything, he could sort of live up to the hype?
He did. It took a couple periods in practice that first day to realize that Sammy's, and just listen to the players talk. The players talk during summer camp or during summer workouts. That this guy is pretty special. And so I was anxious to see when we started, during August 5th, whatever day it was we started, and to see that, and to get 10, 15 minutes into practice and go, wow, this guy has another gear.
Is it as much maybe about his maturity as it is his athletic ability?
I think it's a combination of both. He's far more mature than the average, true freshman, and obviously his athletic ability is sets him apart as well.
Are teams doing different things against him, or is it kind of a variation on a short coverage guy and a deep guy to pick him up, or what kind of things are you?
Well, I think that they're trying to figure out where he's lined up at. And, I think that's one thing that we're doing and a good job of is we're moving him all over the field. And I think that you can't, if you double him, somebody else is going to be turned loose. And so I think that everybody's aware of it. But at the same sense, we got plenty of other playmakers too. And Jerron Brown made an unbelievable catch the other day. We got Dwayne Allen. He's given us that great offset balance. So you can't just focus in on one guy. I mean, this is so much more than just Sammy Watkins and Taj Boyd. I mean, and now if we can get Andre Ellington going, this can open up even more in our run game. And so that's that's the piece of the puzzle. And everything happens for a reason. And the progression of the offense has helped slow everything down, which hadn't been a bad thing. It's been actually a good thing.
Dwayne Allen was saying last week that he couldn't get over how many opportunities he's getting relative to coverages as teams become more and more aware of what you have to do to deal with Watkins.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice that? Is it
There's
something
no
that
question.
gives you all kinds of game plan opportunities?
Absolutely. You look and again, it's about having answers and trying to figure out what your answers are if they're giving you this and that, and being able to make the move, make an adjustment on the fly. And and when you have Dwayne and you have Sammy and you got Jerron Brown and Nuke, I mean, you've got some guys you can put on the field that can make plays, and that's all you ask for. And and now that we're getting Andre going, and you got Mike Bellamy, Mike's get him going a little bit. He adds another dimension. So
Maryland's been susceptible to the run a lot this year, and given that and Taj's status, do you anticipate the running game being more important this week than it has been?
Well, I mean, we're going to do what we do, and we've got to make sure that we continue to get better. You got to get better in all aspects of our game, from pass protection to run blocking to carrying the football, to blocking on the edge with our receivers. They've had some injuries, which has kind of held them back a little bit, but they've also played Georgia Tech, which runs the football, so that kind of may skew your run game stats a little bit. Again, they're going to be. I promise you, Coach will have them well prepared, and Coach has seen. Their defense coordinator's seen this. They've seen the spread. They played West Virginia this year, so they're well aware of how to defend what we did, without a doubt. I mean, we just got to execute. Still comes down to blocking and tackling.
Chad, what's been crazier fan reaction wise, this winning streak here, or some of those in the middle of a couple of those undefeated seasons you had down in Texas?
Well, this is pretty crazy right now. Everybody's excited, and they should be. I said it last week. I mean, you've got a fan base that is just, they've been so close. This program has for so many years, and they just wanted something to brag about, something to be excited about, and for for our players to come out and to have the success that we've had to this point. And it just there's a lot of people wearing orange that are extremely happy and extremely excited, and my response to that is, and they should be. They should have something to be excited about, but we've still got a long way to go this season. I mean, we've got 6 games left. I mean, it's not the first 6 games; it'll be the last 6 games we'll be remembered by. But this is these guys are taking 1 week at a time, and we'll worry about all that at the end of the year, and let everybody be excited. But we got a job to do.
It's even beyond Texas high school football. You hear how crazy that
Well,
goes.
yeah, I mean they're pretty crazy there as well. But
Yeah.
this is right now this is what's going on. I'm extremely excited about this, and when we were on our run in Texas, it was great at that time, and we were playing in front of 32 to 42,000 people, and on a Friday night, and that was pretty remarkable too. But this is pretty special, especially that the hunger level for just to have something to be the winning that's going on that they just haven't had in the past. But again, 6 games, we've got 6 more to go.
Appreciate it,
Guys, I'm
Coach.
going to recording
Thank you.
rounds here.